Well, we got a new wrinkle in the Bam Margera saga. See, now they're getting worse, but that's been normal for a long time. But now they're getting closer together, the bad news. So it does feel like we're running up to the end of the third act, whatever that's going to be.
It feels like accelerating, you know, like when somebody's running from something and they keep going faster and faster until they trip and fall.
Yeah.
It does feel like you're getting there.
Like I said, third act of the movie, getting close to the end. We're going to see what the ending is. As far as I understand, he is still on the run.
Yeah, I haven't heard of him being found.
He beat up his brother, threatened to kill his family, took off into the woods, and the police haven't been able to find him. Every day that they can't find this dude makes me think that the third act might be over somewhere.
I've wondered. Maybe Cocaine Bear found him.
Yeah,
they're hanging out.
A lot of people theorize that it was Cocaine Bear that got Bam Margera. What a sweet, sweet irony that would be. Well, Bam Margera's friends are trying to get him help, or the ones he has left that he hasn't run off yet, as his alarming behavior continues. But an attempted intervention on his behalf didn't take, according to TMZ. Sources close to Bam tell us a couple of Bam's longtime friends organized the intervention earlier this month while he was in San Diego on the heels of his LA area arrest for public intoxication. Sources say that Bam's buddies told him they loved him and were worried about him and wanted to get help and get him back to rehab. And according to Bam, it was all Jeff Tremaine and Spike Jones and Johnny Knoxville's fault. No, I don't. Seems to be who he blames for just about everything at this point.
We need someone, right?
I'm sorry, like his friends and his family want him fixed more than he does, and that's never going to work.
At what point do you stop trying to help somebody?
Many people have already reached that point with him.
I just don't know how you're still hanging on.
The more people you punch in the ear and threaten to kill and tell to fuck off when you try to help the guy, the less people try to help you eventually, and that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about with the end of this third act thing. Whatever the solution's going to be, whether it's rock bottom and he starts pulling the nose of the plane up, or we find him in some compost. I think we're getting to the end. We're in the end game now.
You're saying the final solution is coming.
For Bam.
For Bam.
For Bam. We're told Bam seemed receptive at first, but ultimately a couple factors blew the whole thing up. I'm guessing it was probably the whole no more doing drugs thing.
Oh, God. Don't start with that one.
Oh, go to rehab, dude. Yeah, that's totally, I've been there before. I can do that again. I don't know. He's turning into Bill Clinton now.
He won't go.
Yeah. I can go to rehab again, dude. All right. So what do I do when the rehab's over, dude? And they're like, you got to stop doing drugs. Fuck that. I'm out. I'll see you guys later. You're trying to kill me. That is the weird thing he does. Every time someone wants him to get off drugs, they're trying to kill him. And they're against him. And he wants to fight them.
If that kid is old enough to read yet or talk, you should see what happens if his poor little kid goes, if he's seen this stuff.
You can throw the soon-to-be ex-wife out there. But yeah, you don't want to throw the kid in there.
No.
Because now watch.
I'm not saying put the kid out there. I'm saying have the kid talk to him.
No, don't have the kid talk to Bam.
You don't think the kid's seen any of this shit and doesn't want daddy to feel better?
Yeah, but you want him to see as less as possible. And plus, let's say the kid, okay, now think of how much you fuck up the kid if he says something and the guy just fucks off and goes and dies anyway. Now the kid really feels like a piece of shit.
My stance on it is if the kid has seen any of this yet, have the kid say, Daddy, I want you to feel better. I love you. That might shake some people.
The kid's like 4 or 5.
I don't know how old this kid is.
Yeah, he's that little. I mean,
that's not a new picture.
That's a year ago. That kid ain't old enough to be part of that whole process. I don't think you'd want that. For starters, the sources say Bam's current girlfriend was not receptive to the idea. Oh, would that be the one who got in the kicking fight with him a few months ago?
How do you have a girlfriend? I don't know.
And didn't want him to leave for treatment because she would have nowhere to live if he went to rehab. So just another albatross around his neck. But again, that's his bad judgment.
Can you imagine relying on him, being a dependent of Bam Margera?
What's more, we're told Bam's estranged wife, Nikki, was called during the intervention and made it clear she was willing to let him back into her and their son's life, contingent on Bam getting sober. Our sources say this upset the girlfriend and she kicked everyone out. Bam, you got to get rid of this bitch. You've got to get rid of this bitch, dude.
It's okay. Not that girlfriend's fault. His life's falling apart, though.
But that girlfriend's fault that she kicked everyone out when he was offered a chance back into his son's life. Fuck her to death.
I agree with that, but she's not where this started.
Oh, no.
This is not her fault.
100% his fault for bringing this stupid bitch into this whole thing. But she's an awful hunk of shit, too.
Clearly, they're all awful hunks of shit here.
The failed intervention went down shortly after the video of Bam screaming at his wife as she ate with Phoenix in a Burbank restaurant, an outburst that came minutes before he was busted for public intoxication. Yeah, I mean, God bless these people for trying again, you know? Like, God bless them for trying one more time, but, I mean, I think the spoiler alert was on the wall before they even, you know, went and had the intervention.
I don't know. How many interventions have we tried?
A lot.
No, it's getting exhausting, I would think.
I think, what's the phrase? Let go and let God at this point?
Yeah.
See if he figures it out on his own. He's either holed up with that girlfriend of his now, hiding out from the cops, or...
But where?
Where he's out in the woods? What is he? What is he, Les Stroud? Is he Survivor Man?
She doesn't have anywhere to bring him. She just said that if he went away to rehab, she has nowhere to live.
Well, that's that dependency, that codependent shit, too. Like, she's stopping him from getting better by going, no, Bam, I need you. What would I do if you went away? And that makes him feel good that he's needed, that someone's dependent on him. So, you know, you got to let whatever happen will happen at this point. Bobby Barrett with $5. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bobby. We are 185 guys away from knocking this thing out today. If you've got a little something you want to throw at the show, please do throw a little something at the show. We would appreciate that. We got about 15 minutes until we play the music and try to run up one of the last goals of the week. We've only got 2 left after this one. One of them is going to be a smaller one than normal, if the prize show is any indicator historically. 185 away from that goal. Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats, memberships, all of it. A great way to knock down that goal and get us back to, or get us straight for the day, if you will. By the by, we usually say about 150 or so by the time we play the music is striking distance. So if you feel like being generous, we would appreciate it. He's lucky someone hasn't busted a cap on him. Well, I mean, the cops, if he squares off with the cops, that could happen. Mm-hmm. Winston says, I met Bam when he was a straight-up athlete. Sad times. Yeah, he was a world-class skater, for God's sake. Yosemite Sambo says, someone does need and depend on him, his fucking kid. Yeah, he doesn't see it that way.
Not anymore.
He doesn't see it that way. I just, there's very little you can do with a guy like that. Like I said, if the guy doesn't want to get better, you can't make him. Like, oh, yeah, I'm amenable to going to rehab, but she wouldn't have a place to live. Yeah, Bam, who gives a fuck if she has a place to live or not? Nobody cares. Who is this? You met this chick a few months ago. You two were kicking each other in the face, and the cops had to come bust you up. Like, this isn't...
That's ugly.
I don't think this is a good... again, not that I think he's going to fix anything in rehab, but, Jesus Christ. At least it's, at least it's a step in the right direction. Bam...
Wait, what?
We have a Bam Margera update for everyone. And as we have this Bam Margera update for you, I want to point out to you that, and this might surprise you, it's bad.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I was thinking that he checked into a rehab facility somewhere. He signed some kind of weird contract saying, look, I mean it this time.
Okay.
I want to get my kid back.
Okay.
I want to be on the straight and narrow.
It's interesting that you think that way. Now, do me a favor. Try to imagine 180-degree opposite of that.
So that would mean you're probably laying in a ditch somewhere with a meth head fucking your corpse.
Okay, well, here. It's a little better than that.
Oh, see, no, that's bright.
Hey, there's still meth involved, though.
I'm not a fan of meth. I don't like meth.
Well, that's what separates you from the Bam Margeras of the world, apparently.
Like a really weird, sour place in my soul for meth.
Bam Margera is on the run from police with his girlfriend and her 8-year-old child. And to make matters worse, he's developed an addiction to meth. So this girl has been wonderful for him. We found out that this girlfriend, they had an intervention. They invited this stupid bitch, or he did, one of the two.
They were trying to have an intervention.
They were having an intervention for him. According to the family, it was going well. Bam was agreeable to go to rehab. And they said, Bam, you can see your kid again. You can be a father again. You can have a relationship with your kid. If you get clean, you go to rehab and you make it stick this time. And he was all in. And then the fucking girlfriend piped up and went, if you go away to rehab, Bam, I won't have anywhere to live. And then he shut it down and left. I swear to God, if one of his family members would have ganked her right then and there, I would not have felt bad.
I get it.
I would have understood it.
Well, they've been through the ringer with this guy and they care about him.
Oh, that has got to be. I just repeating it that way makes my blood boil.
Yeah.
They had him. He was right there. He was. Yeah. SH says it perfectly. That sounds like a her problem.
Yes. Like, you clearly had that problem before he came along, too. Figure it out. And she has a kid with her. I feel bad for that kid, man.
How much of a fuck up can the dad be?
I feel worse for that kid. He's not around. I feel worse for that kid than I do for Bam.
Bam Margera is on the run from police with his girlfriend and her 8-year-old child. And to make matters worse, he's developed an addiction to meth. Now, I don't want to do an I fucking a toe-to-so. And I don't want to do an I called it with Bam Margera because my call is not a good one. And it's one that a lot of people have. But do you remember what I said that I thought? I said the third act of this movie is coming to a close.
Yeah, because it's accelerating.
And it's up to Bam what the finale is going to look like. Do you remember what I theorized the finale was going to look like?
No, because we've had so many.
The meth thing is making me believe that I'm getting closer. S-word by cop.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get aggressive.
You're on meth. You're miserable.
Yeah.
You feel like everyone's abandoned you. You're obviously in a terrible place. You feel like you're protecting this woman. Cops get there. You threaten. You go crazy.
You're violent.
I could see Bam ending by they go to take him under arrest and he gets shot. I could see that being the end.
I could too. Because he's already struck his brother too. Like he's harmed somebody.
This is according to his brother, Jess Margera. The former Jackass star's sibling is making the alarming allegations on Twitter, claiming Bam is in a really bad place right now. Now, I understand the criticism people might have for this guy going, why are you putting this all on Twitter? It's like, they don't know where he is.
Nope.
They don't know what he's doing. They don't like have any way of contacting him. They want him to, the police to get him so they can take him in and hopefully that can lead to him getting better. I understand the desperation. Is it the right thing to do this on Twitter? I don't know.
No, but there's a lot of people looking.
Right. I mean, I can talk to my light bulbs. My car can back out of the garage and pick me up at the front door. Police should be able to track a phone, right? Apparently, I'm the asshole. This is from Bam's brother.
Well, what about like thermal imaging and shit like that? They don't care enough to use that?
I'm trying to stay positive. Bam really is the sweetest guy when he isn't messed up. But since his meth habit, he's unrecognizable, and I really don't know what he's capable of. Seeing him screaming at a person that wasn't there, hallucinating, it's really scary and heartbreaking. So I'm guessing this was around the time of the intervention.
Yep.
His girlfriend has her phone. I'm obviously very worried about Bam, but I'm extremely worried that there is an 8-year-old child with them. I can't even imagine the environment in that car right now. I hope she's okay. She is the sweetest kid. She doesn't deserve this unnecessary trauma. So they're living in a car, it sounds like.
Yep.
Oh, right, because she said she didn't have a place to live if Bam goes to rehab.
This stuff is absolutely devastating. Meth is a huge problem, and kids do not pull people's heads out of their asses.
Jess says Bam is traveling by car with his girlfriend and her daughter, and he says he can't even imagine the environment right now. He claims he's picked up a meth habit and is unrecognizable. TMZ broke the story. Bam's got a warrant out for his arrest in Philadelphia, where state police say Bam got into an altercation with his family, as we talked about before, and then made a getaway into the woods.
Maybe there's going to be some kind of standoff between him and police, and that is how it goes.
Some of Bam's longtime friends recently tried to stage an intervention, but they say it didn't take, and laid some of the blame on Bam's girlfriend. Yeah, that she said, "Oh, but Bam," what we read was they brought up rehab. He was agreeable to it. And then she went, but honey, I won't have a place to live. Crocodile tears, codependent, addict behavior. And he bent and he took off with her.
She's absolutely part of the problem, but so is he. Like, he could have just decided to not go along with her crocodile tears, too. But that is how meth addicts behave around each other. They feed each other. They got to keep that thing going together.
Yeah. Zero Dark Tony says, I think he appeared in court this morning. He turned himself in and he's out on bail. You know what? I haven't seen that story. Let me check it out. You could be right. I'm operating off a story I got last night. Police issue warrant.
There's that 26.
Okay, so he did. Okay, he surrendered to Pennsylvania police. We have, do we have a video of it?
Ship property called Castle Bam around 11 Sunday morning for a domestic case. When they got there, police were told former pro skateboarder and jackass star Bam Margera had taken off through the woods behind the property. According to police documents, Bam had been kicking the door of his brother's bedroom and left a note for his brother threatening him if he talked to police. Then the documents say the brother saw Bam urinating in the kitchen sink and then Bam attacked him, injuring his face. Bam's brother says Bam told him he would put a bullet in his head and then he left the house.
I mean, you don't want to, like, you feel bad calling the cops on your brother, but if you're going to call them, say as much of the nasty shit he did as possible, get as many charges as you can, because getting him locked away is the safest thing you can do right now.
Don't leave anything out.
Punched me in the head. He threatened to kill me. He threatened to kill this person. Like, get as many counts on him as you can.
Yep, kicking, all that.
Members were outside waiting when police arrived, and troopers searched the woods for Bam but didn't find him, which then led to a warrant for his arrest. Bam has been a celebrity now for over 2 decades with a few of his own shows, including the very popular Viva La Bam, but he has been in and out of rehab for years and has had a number of personal life and child custody issues, as well as arrests, including charges he kicked a woman in California earlier this year. And he reportedly had a very rough time after the 2011 high-speed drunk driving death of his good friend and co-star Ryan Dunn.
Okay.
Gotta stop with that.
I get it. 12 years ago.
Yep.
12 years ago. I give you a year or two. That's tough. You know, a year or two.
People lose parents. They lose best friends all the time. It's unfortunate. People lose kids. That's not an excuse for you to live a shitty life.
I give you a year or two. And then after that, you just want to get loaded. You just want to stay high. Steve-O was a junkie who lost his friend Ryan Dunn. Steve-O's been clean for almost a decade now.
Yep.
It's one of the most inspirational stories in Hollywood. But for every Steve-O, there's 100 Bam Margeras.
Yeah. Yeah, Steve-O is the exception, not the rule.
Yeah. Along Route 322 in West Goshen, I interviewed Bam shortly after Dunn's death.
I honestly ran out of tears, like, 4 days of nonstop crying. I have none left anymore.
Pennsylvania State Police say if you see Bam Margera or if you have any...
Okay, so this is an earlier video story. But this, we do have days after Pennsylvania State Police issued an arrest warrant for Brandon Bam Margera, the reality TV star surrendered to face charges that he assaulted his brother in his Chester County home. They did capture him arriving. Let's see. Smoking a cigarette. I mean, it's better than meth, I suppose. Just looks like a ghost.
Doesn't look good, but it looks better than I actually anticipated.
Right, I did expect him to look worse.
This is better.
I mean, he's still got money, and that's the worst thing as a junkie with money.
Yeah.
Oh, they even locked Bam out. Oh, no. I don't remember who said that there's no rock bottom if you have millions of dollars.
You can afford everything.
But, yeah, you can afford it all. Zero Dark Tony is saying, how did they give him bail? Well, the problem is they have to give him bail because the crimes he committed are not serious enough to hold him indefinitely. Like, people they hold there's murderers. There's people who are accused of murder that they can't hold indefinitely without bail. So, a guy who's accused of punching his brother in the head, he's getting out. You can't hold a guy with no bail for punching his brother.
What happens while he's out?
There you go.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the question.
What happens if you're his family? If I'm his family, I don't want to be around him, and then I feel bad that I don't want to be around him because what if I could help him? But there is no helping.
Schnoop 123 Jimbo says, I don't get how Bam is sad. His friend killed himself and a friend because he was a moron drunk driving. I mean, you still lost your friend. I mean, look, again, I get that for a year.
Okay, but then he also says if my friend killed himself drunk driving, I would call him a fucking idiot. You do get to that point, too, where it's like, God, you can't be doing that shit. And it does suck because you love that person. That's your friend, but they were drunk driving, too.
People lose family members to, like, lung cancer. And, yeah, while you're very sad they're gone, you also go, could that fucking idiot have put the goddamn cigarettes down and he'd still be here?
I said that about my grandma for a long time because she died very young of COPD from smoking because she quit too late. Like, you know, she was so young, and it is so maddening because I've thought many times, like, she could have seen me get married and she could have seen me with my family and all that stuff. You know, that's real.
Kraken Slappin' says, lost my wife to cancer. Guess I missed the memo that I had to become a raging drug addict.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it happens to some people.
But
it's still, it's not a 12-year excuse.
You got to come around eventually to, like, see, yeah, your friend died from a drunk driving car accident. Doesn't that make you want to be better somehow? You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That person died drunk driving. Do you want to be that person?
There's a level of giving up, you know?
It's an excuse. It's a crutch you use for life now.
T. Jefferson says he's a disappointment, but I'm happy you were wrong, Aaron. I've been saying from the very beginning, I can't wait to be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we'd always rather be wrong.
I can't, but hey, let's not pretend that turning himself in takes him out of the woods. I mean, literally, it took him out of the woods, but figuratively, he's got to get away from this broad. He's got to.
Somebody's got to find that kid. Too.
Somebody's got to do something about that kid.
Yeah,
for sure. If they're doing meth, no way.
That doesn't end well.